Good middle of the night, everyone. Welcome to another tournament stream. Today we're starting it off by Rain versus Premo, and I'm joined by none other than Fudget.
Hello. Good morning. Good evening. Good. I don't know what it is. It's good something.
It's middle of the night. Let's just keep it at that. No way to bring it up.
Yeah. Well.
First and foremost, there is a giveaway running on both our streams. We decided to do the same thing so you can make your guess at Fudget's stream or at my stream in order to win one of 3 battle passes per stream for this specific matchup. Basically, you have to guess the damage that Premo does as a team during the second match of this matchup. So the second game, you still have like about 5 minutes from here until you hear me say this until we actually stop the guessing. And basically post your in-game name, your server, and the guess of the damage that you think Premo will do as a whole in the second game.
Yeah. It's that easy, and you can win a battle pass. But they're not out
For
yet, so don't
June.
expect it. Yeah. Don't expect it to hit your account like tomorrow.
Exactly. Basically, you will get it after the Battle Pass activates on June 1st. So I will be keeping tabs to make sure that Wargaming delivers them. But yeah, please do not contact me until you've not gotten your pass until like June 2nd.
Exactly, because as I keep telling everybody as well, we're not giving them out, guys. Wargaming are giving them out, but they're not ready yet. Got a long way to go until the 1st of June. So chill. You'll get them. If you don't, let us know.
Exactly. So with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to go, we see, of course, some super heavies making their way onto the screen. Rain still missing a member, but basically we're sure that they will have a full team because there's someone in the raining room. What are your expectations for this match?
It's always a tough one, New Bay, because you've got that flyover and they like going up on the ramps, and you do see the super heavies. Pramo have been playing pretty well, to be fair, and so have Rain, but I think Pramo, I don't know, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. I mean, when I've been streaming them in the PYSs, I would have to give the slight advantage to Rain, to be honest. Only slight, though, because Pramo have been playing really well. And there's a lot at stake, because obviously neither of them want to drop down into the lower bracket final later. They'd rather just go straight through, I think, and get to the final groupings tomorrow. So there's still a lot at stake.
And something to keep in mind here is that basically the team that comes through this battle and the team that comes through the lower bracket, there's no real pressure anymore on them. For them, it's basically they're both through. There's only one team that's going to get knocked out tonight, and that's either going to be Purple or the loser of this match.
Exactly, and you know they're not going to risk that, so they're both going to give it their best. And I mean, they've both teams have worked hard to get here, so it's going to be a tight one. As I said, I mean, both of them have played really well in the improve your skill. So I don't know, Rain though may just edge it. Although to be fair, Promo were consistently beating everybody in the prove your skill, so it's going to be a tough one. And I like those sort of games where it's difficult to say.
Same. It basically generally means interesting matches, close matches, and tiebreakers. And as a streamer, I'm a fan of tiebreakers.
So am I, but it does drag the stream out when you're tired.
That too. But for this match, we have to wait until the second matchup anyway. So the
Absolutely.
games
I
can be
mean,
as long as they want.
exactly. These can be fine. The second games can be fine. It's the third ones that we want it over and done with.
uh, I do love streaming NA, and especially yesterday's matches did not disappoint at all. But it is tough getting up in the middle of the night to stream for a server that you don't have the connection with that you have with, for, in my instance, EU, because that's my main server. Though over time, I have gotten to know most of these people in one way or another. So it is fun, but it is tough.
It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the NA server. I used to go on it quite a lot, but recently the ping has been like 400, so it's been a bit of a nightmare when it's so high. But I'm in the Joker clan, which is why I'm not streaming them. Um,
Hmm.
so I do know some of the guys, and it's interesting. It's an interesting competitive server. It is a competitive one.
Exactly. And I'm technically in the Primal clan, but I have to point out the fact that I'm hardly ever on this server, so it's mainly just for poops and giggles. Also want to say, by the way, stop guessing now. Guessing is closed. People will hear this on voice. The moderators can post it in the chat so that they know that that's the deadline, and basically can give us the results that we need.
Yep, totally agree. You can stop guessing now, guys. That's it. It's all over. You heard what Aminet said, so we'll find out later.
Very heavy lineup on Rain side, by the way, with 3 Ice Force, 2 Kranwagens, and 2 Mice, whereas Premo is way more mobile with an AMX 50B, 3 Ice Force, 2 Kranwagens, and even in Spaghetti.
But I'm still expecting a lot of action around those ramps. All the clans on all the servers seem to like going up here and having a bit of a brawl, mainly because they can get those cross shots in if anybody crosses.
She's still surprised at that, because with Supremacy, it's so important to dominate more than half the bases, and that's just not happening when you go to Dramsey.
Well, New Bay's always been a strange map in that respect because when it first came out, everybody was going to the C and the B cap, and now we're seeing a sort of sea change in that where they're using these ramps a lot more. And I'm just looking at Dragon Krieg here in Rain. He's going to the position that almost everybody now goes to across all the servers again in that mouse with Zaytu just behind him.
Yeah, and we have Pramo now pushing quite aggressively for Verdun and TGF, but most at the moment it's costing them HP rather than giving them any damage.
That's true, and obviously Rain have already capped the B cap, so they've managed to secure some points there. However, Sierra is now jumping into that A cap, which is odd
Yeah, I
because
think
when
you
it
kind of
came,
have to. You need to not let the point advantage get too far ahead for Rain.
yeah, and the A cap nobody used to go to the A cap. Now they do. It's quite interesting. And here come the Mouse is pushing up along with TJ here to put a bit of pressure onto Pramo.
Yeah, but the mice are actually sort of half turning around to deal with the tanks behind them. Verdun is losing HP steadily, but Tantan is almost gone. 46 HP left for him.
Yeah, Tantan was very aggressive down that ramp. He went down low and down he goes to hated fate.
And basically now Cora has also been taken out. We have Tanner, who is not looking too healthy. Even Steven, who can easily get shot at from multiple directions. I'm not sure what Primo is doing here.
No, normally they stay on the ramps. The teams they don't normally spread out across the map like this. It's a very bizarre strategy. Maybe it's one they've been working on and it was looking good in training. I don't know.
It's very interesting to see because they're very spread out. They're basically, this is sort of a turkey shoot for rain. All they need to do is turn around here and there and get their shots in.
Yeah, like I said, normally they stay at least with backup here and there, but there's no backup anywhere here. Even Steven has got no backup realistically. He's now down. Tanner, well, he'll be just pushed by Dragon Krieg. He's on his long reload anyway. In Bob 78, it's all on
Just
Tanner
got
now.
taken out. Yeah. This is going to be an actual 7-0, and with these two clans, I would never have expected that.
No, like I said, maybe it was something that they worked on in training, and it was looking good, and it looked like they were able to dominate and get into some good positions. But what you do in training and what you do in real life are two different things. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, very true.
But I must admit, I've never seen any. Like I said, I've streamed Asia where they also had New Bay, and I streamed EU earlier where they had New Bay, and I've never seen any team go so wide and so spread out like I just saw Pramo, to be honest.
Yeah, because they started more as a pack, and then they just went every which way. And I think that the idea of it was to sort of pincer whoever from Rain was near base A. But Rain was just all around base A, or between their spawn and base A. And it basically, whatever movement Primo was trying to make, it did not work.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, when they started, you could see them. They were sort of at the bottom of the at the ramps. They weren't really overly pushing, and then I don't know. They just kind of spread out very quickly and in all directions.
Yeah.
That's probably going to go into the that strat didn't work pile. So, well, this is one of the dangers you have, though. I've when I was with Joker, they used to do a lot of training, and I've done a lot of training with Vale, and there are strange and quirky strats you do try, and some ways you think they're never going to work, and they work, and then you roll them out in the real game, and they just absolutely don't work. And you were right the first time; they're not going to work. But your training partner on the day wasn't probably wasn't the best. It was their second team or something along those lines. So it does happen.
That is very true. And that's why I also never take training results into account because people play differently. You're testing things, you're testing the water, you're testing everything basically. And that is different from an actual tournament game.
Oh, completely, completely. It's yeah. I mean, I remember we did one strat with Vale where we took I don't know, it was two FV 4202s on Castilla and four crans, and we thought that well, it's not going to work. And we were right. It worked in training, it just didn't work in real life.
Yeah. Also, by the way, Rain taking a very different tactic, going straight for C with multiple tanks. Hopefully trying to catch base B as well while they're at it. And they're basically digging themselves into the town, whereas Primo is pushing around base A. Even Steven might be in a bit of a pickle there if he picks up at the wrong place, but no, he's actually going for the other ramp.
Well, I was about to say, I mean, this is more of a traditional type of strat for this map on those ramps, apart from even Steven, who's gone really far. But he's looking to get round the back of them. The only danger they've got at the moment now is obviously Snow Fox. He's out there on his own. He is a mouse, but he is on his own, and he's going to be pincered.
Yeah, and they will need to attack him fast if they want this to work. The mice, in the meantime, are getting set upon in the middle of the map, and this is kind of fun. I kind of feel like they should have known that that would happen.
Hmm. Well, this
You
is a
have the Garmark and
much
turning around to deal with even Steven.
yeah. I mean, this is a much better strategy from Pramo. This is more
Yeah.
tried and tested. They're not so spread out, and they're doing what you would normally expect.
And now Zaitu is going to be taken out very quickly, and there's nothing he can do about it. Not before Snowfox, though. So both teams have lost a mouse now, but HP-wise, it's neck and neck.
But the difference between them is Snow Fox tied up two tanks that were nowhere near the battle, whereas Pramo got rid of a mouse and they're in the centre of the battle at the same time. So it's a
Yeah.
completely different scenario.
Hated Fate just got taken out as well. Basically, they need to deal with the low HP targets. Base C is being taken. Sierra has been taken out. Glory might go and deal with even Steven, but will need to reload his shots a bit more.
Dragon
It is
Krieg is
definitely
worse
an
for
interesting
wear.
game here.
Dragon Krieg is now basically a one shot. Yeah, there he goes.
And it's sort of like, as long as they focus fire, Rain should still have this. But now we have even Steven and Tanner together setting upon Glory. So that's a very good call. Even Steven actually running around to prevent himself from dying, and that rule not killing off Tanner. That was a failed hug by Glory. He hugged himself to death against Tanner.
I mean, Rob 78 is going to go down here, but Fadu and TJF is going to. Well, I mean, they're after Tanner. They know roughly where he is. But even Steven is
Yeah.
there, and Mako is trying to make up ground to get up there to try and give some support.
Thing is that they're being hesitant, and though that makes sense, in this case, they can't afford to be. But they lost a lot of HP trying to chase down Tenno,
Oof.
and they do get him, but
But
this might not be enough.
Fadu did lose a load of HP trying to chase him there, and now
And
he's
now he's
going.
turning around,
Well,
and that
Mako's going to
was
take
the
him
only
out.
thing he could do. Oh, he gets to live another moment, but there he goes. But we have his Royal Fatness now moving in, taking out even Steven. It is 2 versus 1, but TJ basically just needs to stay alive at this stage.
And that's what Mako is aiming for. Oh, he missed or bounced.
At the same time, his Royal Fatness, he is leaving the base now, which is a bit tricky to do, but they still have the point advantage, as long as TJ survives.
Correct.
And that is not going to go well, probably now. And there he goes.
But now Mako's
He
got
could
his
not really
rear
do
to Royal
anything else.
Fatness. Yeah, but now Mako has got his posterior aiming right as HRF.
Yeah, but now his Royal Fatness is doing what he needs to do, standing in the base to avoid Bramo getting points from it. And even capping it. He might not even cap it, I don't know. But if he does, then that will be all the harder for Bramo to make this work.
Unfortunately, Mako did not make that shot, but nor did his Royal Fatness.
Ooh. What a game, though.
And Pramo now have the base points advantage.
And Rain still has the HP advantage, so it could go every which way. It will all depend on whether or not they bounce more or not.
Mako's doing the right
Mako.
thing here. He's trying to get up close and
There we
personal,
go.
but that's a great shot by his Royal Fatness.
Very level-headed play here. I can't imagine the stress that he's actually feeling at that point. Even though it's the second game. And look at the damage though. Just also want to point out that means that the score is 19,593 for the giveaway. But oh my god, what a close game this was. Lovely.
And that was what I was expecting to be seeing in the first game, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
With that more traditional type of strat from Pramo, putting the pressure on where they can, moving their tanks around the map, rather than the what appeared to be a very uncoordinated let's go in every direction strat.
Yeah. This was way more like the Primal we know and love.
Totally. I mean, it is interesting that okay, they Rain turned them over there, but credit where credit's due is Royal Fatness only had 600 hit points left at the end there, and they were down on base points as well. Unfortunately, with Mako having to chase down, who was he chasing? I can't remember now. Was it TJ or Fadu? I can't remember. One of the two. He got bled a little bit from the rear by his Royal Fatness. Was really helped out. So it was a great play though by Mako, considering he'd lost a lot of hit points in chasing down that IS4.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I worried about Rain when those two IS4s were chasing Tanner because they lost so much just crossing over, but
Yeah.
it still worked out for them. TJ surviving for that little bit longer and letting them get a little bit more damage into their enemy just made all the difference.
But like I said, I mean that was the sort of game I was expecting in the first match as well, not the what effectively was a whitewash 7-0. So it seems that Pramo have put that one in the it's not a good strat box, and we're going to see more of their traditional type of gameplay now.
Hopefully, because that tends to work better for them. And now we're moving on to main rooms. We see a much different in lineup. Also between the two clans, with Rain taking 2 IS4s, 2 Kranwagens, 2 E5s in the T22, versus an E100, a Mouse, an IS4, 3 Kranwagens, and an E5. But especially, again, very heavy lineup from Pramo here.
But we're starting to see that with clans now taking on this map again. It's sort of evolved a little bit, and it used to be that everybody sort of went towards the C cap or the A cap. Now they are trying a lot more to dominate the middle area around the B cap.
And that is exactly what they're going to do now. Not necessarily going into base B, but it also means that they're pretty much giving away base C, only then Rain isn't going for it. They
No,
know
I
where
mean,
most of Primo is, though.
yeah, they do, and you know, this is a game more that we're seeing. We never used to see a lot of clans go into what I would normally describe as the public match area, which is at the back of B, in between C. But we're now seeing again a lot of clans doing that. They're finding it easier to move around the map from there without getting pinged from those coming in from the A cap effectively.
Mm-hmm. And I do find it always a curious notion, by the way, that you also made. The fact that what you do in pub battles is not nothing compared to what you do in tournament battles. And that has everything to do with that you have a team of 7 people that you're coordinating with.
That's true, and it surprises me when they start taking some of the things that you see in the public battles into the tournaments, especially this map most particularly. I mean, when if you go back to last winter season, that you had a lot of people sort of dominating around the heavy route area by the A cap, overlooking the B cap, and you even had teams dropping into the B cap. We're not seeing a lot of that anymore. We're now seeing where Zaytu and Dragon Krieg are, where Sierra is. We're seeing more action around these areas now, which is what you would
Yes.
normally find in a public game. And clearly, the teams have worked out that you can dominate and control the map better from certain other positions as they get more used to these maps with the meta that we've now
Exactly.
got.
Also want to point out, by the way, that Sierra is basically functioning as a spotter for where Zaytu is. That is how Tanner so far has gotten some shots into him. It is a very cheeky way to play, but it's right now they're basically just whittling away each other's HP. And now we have Samuel moving in, probably wanting to get base B. But that's going to be very tricky because there's tanks there, but those tanks have backup. As in, Cora is backing up Samuel here.
Yeah, but the biggest danger that Samuel's got is from Glory, Hated Fate, and potentially his Royal Fatness. I mean, Zaytu and Dragon Creek can't come round,
No, they've already gotten it.
and that is a very cheeky cap.
That definitely puts the pressure on Rain. I actually did not think that they would let Samuel get away with that, but I think that's also why Ranger is where he is. Because the normal spot where people would decamp base B could not be used.
That's the point, and this is what I'm saying about they're evolving their strats on these maps, and they're putting their tanks into positions to and as you saw it said there, Ranger is purposely in that position to stop those cross shots coming into B from the traditional area, which is that sort of cobbled stoned patio, so to speak.
Yeah. So now we have a bit of a stalemate going on, but the pressure is definitely on Rain to make a move now with Primo having gone base B like this. And now
And they
we're
are.
seeing
Hmm.
they are responding, they are going for base A, or maybe not, they're going for Ranger. But it
Well,
sort of seems a little bit half-hearted. They don't know exactly what who is doing.
Well, I think even Stephen being parked behind that rock threw them, they were looking to pincer Ranger, and as they rode up towards that area, that even Stephen got spotted by Fatness, and that sort of made Royal Fatness change his direction to deal with that. Else they would have had the Crown Wagon putting shots in the back. Ranger has gone down, so it did actually work, but they have lost Dragon Creek.
Yeah, but it doesn't, in this case, even Steven made a very good decision here, and they've won the battle. But I'm not sure if you saw what he did. Even Steven, with the way that he positioned his tank, kept his Royal Fatness from driving into base A.
Hmm.
So he could not stop the points going up. He was literally blocking the whole base with his tank.
Yeah, I mean, even Stephen put himself in a perfect position for many reasons there. And this is the other thing that a lot of people don't get in tournaments. It's not always about the amount of damage that these guys dish out, although even Stephen did the top damage there. but it's not always about the damage you dish out. It's about the role that you play on the
Exactly.
battlefield. And sometimes your role is just, it's like covering fire. It's just to keep the heads down of the opposition and stop them making a move into a particular area. And that was even Stephen's exact role there, to stop anything coming up there. It worked perfectly for him, because as you saw,
It
they
was
were coming
beautiful.
up. They were coming up to try and push onto Ranger. They spotted even Stephen, so his Royal Fatness had to peel off. And then you could see that his Royal Fatness is in two minds. Do I take the cap or do I fight? And he's thought, well, I need to take the cap. But then even Stephen's like, well, you're not getting past me. Simple.
Exactly. Also, by the way, just one very simple thing. The instructions for the giveaways are very, very simple. You post your in-game name, your server, and the damage guess. I don't care if your YouTube name is also your in-game name. If your message lacks one of the three, your entry isn't valid.
Well, there you go, look.
Someone claimed that their guess should have been right because their YouTube name is their in-game name, but no, that's not how it works. And there will be more giveaways, but the first one is over, so you have to wait until the second matchup. But here we
Yes.
go. Again, it is still a potential match point for Rain. Any match that they win means that they win the matchup. But Primal is making a comeback now.
Yes, they are. I mean, they've settled down since the first game. Got it out their system, clearly. It's going to be interesting how they play this one, considering how they just played the last one. I mean, Rain have got the hit point advantage, and it's pretty significant, to be fair. I mean, I normally say that when you start getting to just over 1,000 additional HP, it's half of Vickers, which is a lot to get through.
It is. And that's why taking the HP buff can be helpful. But I always feel that the other thing that you can get there, which is a little bit more troll armor, at least in randoms, it works better. But we see a lot of a lot of pro players going for the extra armor. And look at where TJ and his Royal Fatness are at.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at it from one side, it's like Pramo are doing a sort of mirror strat to what we've just seen Rain doing, with the exception of Snow Fox and Sierra, who are much further forward than what Rain were in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
Now we
even
have-
Steven just hanging at the back.
Dragon Creek pushing Snow Fox together with Hated Fate, getting their first shot of damage in.
Oh, good shot by TJ there.
But we have Sierra. No, they decide against that. I thought he was going to go around the back. I think they think that there are more Rain players there than there actually are.
Well, Snow Fox's job is to sucker in Hated Fate onto the gun of even Steven. And Sierra's job is to sucker in somebody onto him, again, onto the gun of even Steven. That's the idea behind it. His Royal Fatness is making a bolt for the B cap. Mainly because Snow Fox has been pushed out of his position.
It is gameplay though, and I do appreciate that. I'm not sure if he's not getting away with it.
Well,
But
despite
he
the
does
fact...
make Cora take some damage for it as well.
Well, the reason why the Crown Dragons were able to do that is look at Samuel's position in the IS-4. He's keeping heads down, and Tanner is coming around the back in the Vickers to try and put shots onto Fadu. So it was Fadu's role to basically try and help out there, but he couldn't, so TJ had to do it. So it's good positioning again by Pramo.
Oh god. There we go. Think we're back. Fudget, are you there?
Absolutely. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, sorry, my internet just had a hiccup.
Oh, well, there you go. It does happen. But Pramo is still in control of this game at this moment in time, despite the fact that Rain have two bases now.
Yeah, and Samuel just lost a whole lot of HP there.
He did indeed. I mean, but look at the push here by Rob78. He's trying to get those shots into TJ and Royal Fatness. But Cora can't help him because Glory and Hated Fate are coming around to take down Samuel. And Fadu is in support.
think there was also some miscommunication here, though, because Glory actually stopped and Hated Fate pressed into his back because of that. We have TJ and his Royal Fatness pressing Rob now, taking shots as well, but they kind of just need to. Premo has 2 bases, so that gives them an advantage. But they lack 2 guns right now.
And Fox is trying to avoid Dragon Creed to get the shots in, but he loses a shed load of HP in doing it.
And I think my internet is being a bit, let's say, bitchy again.
Well,
but we have Premo now.
I mean, that Fadu has finally gone down, but I think it's just too much for Pramo now. It's 3 against 5. Sierra's going to go down here. TJ's going to press on him. He's got to be careful, though, because TJ is effectively a 2-shot.
Restore itself soon enough. There we go.
Oh, actually, now he's a 1-shot.
It's definitely glitching for me. Even Steven now, the last one left.
Yeah, I mean, that was much better play from Rain that time. More consolidated.
My OBS even broke connection there.
Oof.
My internet is having issues. Sorry.
Well, we do have a long break now, to be fair.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do to fix it, by the way. Just basically just hope that my laptop survives. OBS disconnected as well, so I think it was an OBS issue more than anything else. Oh well, but that was a brutal battle as well. I think it sort of looked like Rain made that little push for the lone tanks that Premo had.
Yeah, I mean, Premo, to be fair, they hadn't put many feet wrong. It's just that was a lot more cool, calm, and collected from Rain this time.
Yeah.
But Premo won't be too. I mean, Premo won't be too downhearted. I mean, Rain are always a tricky opponent. They are now looking forward to the next games, which are coming up in about what? Oh, I can't remember how many minutes now. Like 20 minutes or something.
20 minutes, yeah. Starts at 51.
Yeah.
And they're going up against Purple, and I'm actually really looking forward to that because the matches last night with Purple were so fantastic.
Yeah, no, Purple are you know, they fought their way into the top 8. It was touch and go for a time being, with Straighten nipping at their heels. But you know, they've played some good stuff in the PYS, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's again the great debate that I was having with Every on the EU server. Some clans do actually, and we've seen it on EU tonight, where Serenity lost to APA, dropped down into the lower bracket, went on to beat Reti, went back out to face APA, and turned it around completely. So,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes some clan. I mean, I'm not saying they play for this. Sometimes they do. R2K once did. I mean, it's a tricky strat because you don't know what your opponent's going to do. But it just gives you that edge because now Rain have got effectively over an hour to wait for the next battle.
Well, that too, but at the same time, Rain is already secure in the knowledge that they make it to tomorrow.
That is true. And, you know, the last battle is only about seeding for tomorrow now. Whoever they match up with.
Yeah. In the meantime, by the way, I'm showing off a Purple replay in the VK90, so interesting to see what's going to happen there as well. But yesterday, the matches that I saw from Purple versus Rain and then Purple versus... oh god, I can't brain anymore. But basically, they were some of the most beautiful games I've seen. They were all close. It was all incredibly interesting to watch.
Like I
And
said,
I'm
I mean,
really hoping for more matches like that.
well, like I said, I mean, NA is one of those servers that's underestimated sometimes. It's a very competitive tournament scene. It may not be big. It's not as anywhere near the state of RU or EU, I admit. But the clans that are in there are ultra competitive. They really are. And I know there's a lot of discontent sometimes with the NA server um, on the tour scene, but they are very competitive. I mean, like I said, I'm in Joker and they take it very seriously. They just want to win every game.
Mm-hmm.
And they get very upset when they don't. And
Also,
when I
by the way,
first.
I'm hearing that my stream is fine.
Oh,
Basically,
well,
just hiccups in the stream itself. So,
that's
luckily, it
normal.
seems to be working again now.
That's normal. It's like when I mean I joined Joker before they were Joker. Because previously they were GMA. Then before that they were GG.
Ah, I did not know that. Sometimes I hear clan tags. I'm like, think I'm supposed
Yeah.
to know these, but I've never heard of them. And then I hear what they used to be, and it's like, aha.
Yeah, so they keep metamorphosing into new into it's the same people. It's just GMA was like a conglomeration of two clans. I think it was Rain and what is now Joker, but it never used to be. It was GG and blah blah blah. So yeah, they sort of conglomerated, and then Joker came up this year basically. But
Okay.
when they were going for the Blitz Cup, because they got into the top 8 to go into the Blitz Cup. Unfortunately, they went out on the first day in the Blitz Cup. The amount of effort that these guys put in is unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
they are training, and I was streaming them, and on some games I played with them. They train literally every day in preparation for that Blitz Cup for almost for almost like 2 to 3 weeks, and it's every
Good.
day, and it's minimum 12 games every day, and it's like it's absolute. It really is intense, and it's not fun and games training. It's serious training. Where they really are shouting at each other, telling that person to how can you not move around a map and not be spotted, etc. It's a real eye opener when you see these pro clans what they do behind the scenes. It really is an eye opener.
It definitely is. It also always points to me like I could never do that. Aside from literally not having the skill set to do it, I mainly don't have the time or the energy to do that. I like the game,
Mm.
but I don't like it 12 games hardcore training every day game, so to speak.
Oh, it's totally draining, and in between all of that, they also do quick tours in as well. And I went out on a quick tour with them. It's kind of my claim to fame still on NA. I teamed up with Whitetails, one of the other pros in Joker. He's Joker now, and we went out and first game out we were streaming it. First game out we ended up on mines, and on the opposite team was a platoon consisting of Fishy and Droodles.
Oof. Good
And I
luck with
killed.
that.
I, no, I killed them both. It was great.
Nice.
With my 300 ping, it was awesome. Never underestimate a mouse. That's all I have to say on that one. But then we then went into the tournament and we got teamed with, the last game we had straight, and it was intense. It's very, very intense.
I can imagine. That is basically I never envy the people that actually play the tournaments.
Hmm.
I love commentating them because for me, like I've said before, it's like the pinnacle of gameplay. But at the same time, knowing what the game can do and actually performing what the game can do are two very different things.
It is, and I mean, but these guys have a different view of the game to what us mere mortals have. To be
True
fair,
that.
and I remember there's a chap called Chobham, although he changes his name every now and then. And he's a very good player, one of the pro players. Used to be in Vale, and then before that he was in a different clan. I think he's in one of the top clans on NA as well. I think he was in Pincer or something.
Yeah, the
He
name
knows
definitely sounds familiar.
well. He knows everything about the tanks, and he's a bit like Royal Fatness. Royal Fatness is the same. Who knows? And every good name is taken. Whilst he's not a tournament player, he's also a little bit of the same. They know where the auto bounce parts are. They know You know where you're going to get those penetrating shots. They know these like little intricate details that normal players wouldn't even bother knowing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to study to know these areas. What's going to
Yeah.
where the heat is going to penetrate 100% of the time and do the most damage. I mean, we all know when to use Pramo and when to use HE to an extent, but these guys know exactly the areas. And 9 times out of 10, they're not using auto aim; they're doing manual aim. If you ever watch, for example, Juicy Tender Steak, he doesn't use auto aim. Yet you'll see that most of his shots are penetrating shots. He very rarely bounces, and he's doing big damage on almost every single shot. And this is the difference with them, that they really do study it to that level. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. That's something I could never hope to do. I mean, I love the game and everything, but I just never invest enough time to learn it like that. And they are monsters in their own rights.
Well, they are, and it's like the difference is quite big. I mean, in a tournament, bouncing a shot, even just one shot, failing to pen that one shot, can be the difference between
Yeah,
winning and losing in a tournament.
exactly. Case in
Whereas,
point, by the way, the replay that I just showed was a 5.3k 5 kill 1500 basic speed damage game in the
oof,
VK90 on Camp Stilla with a
hmm
very forward VK90 that almost played it like a mad and it paid off beautifully.
oh, there you go. Look, and as I say, well, in normal games, it doesn't bother us every now and
Mm.
then if we bounce in public matches,
Also,
but in the
by the
tournaments,
way,
it matters.
yeah, very true. For the second giveaway, same thing. Second match from promo.
Second thing, we'll
Okay,
do it from
so
rain this time. Do it rain this time.
we don't have rain. We have promo versus purple.
Oh, do purple.
Okay. So then the thing that you need to do is guess the damage done by purple in the second game of the matchup to win one of the 3 June battle passes. Post your in-game name, your server, and your damage guess, and the 3 closest win. If you want to edit your guess, delete your previous message and make a new one. And make sure that every guess you have has that in-game name, server, and guess. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, it's not.
So begin guessing. Also just typing that quickly in the chat.
Same.
And do not enter if you've already won because you can't win 2 battle passes. Well, technically you can win it, but it doesn't give you anything extra.
Absolutely. You just take it away from somebody else.
Yes, exactly. Potatoes saying sticking with your guess is not an actual guess. You have to post it again. Okay, there you go. He did. Oh.
So, I mean, I haven't. Obviously, you streamed Purple yesterday. I've only streamed them in the PYS, so it'd be interesting to see how this one's approached by Pramo. I mean, because Pramo now, they have got the pressure on them because one of these teams is going to go out today.
Yeah. So they will play more Die Hard. Purple has everything right on it as well. And as good as they were yesterday, Purple, definitely. It's not going to be easy. I mean, this is Premo. It is rain. I still don't understand why they're in the same group to begin with, but that's Wargaming seeding. They have a lot of seeding issues these days. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't know how the seeding works in the tournaments. I haven't asked the question. I know how the seeding works for the PYSs and in the final stages, except I don't fully understand how they do the group seedings for the first days on PYS.
It
But
doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest. The way that Wargaming has done this season, seeding wise, also format wise with this final stage, to be honest. But that's a whole other thing on its own.
Well, I saw a message from, I think it was Sirius, saying that they're trying something different.
They
Um,
are, and I get it. I mean, if you want to do that, you need to do that in any other season than Twister season because that is the big one, so to
yeah.
speak. But it feels like, um, those little things that you can shoot at the wall and they stick.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
kind of feels like they had a board of possible options and they sort of determined how we're going to do this by doing that. Just tossing something at it, and the point that it sticks at, that's the one you go for.
Well, they've clearly got something in mind on trying to sort of trim down the PYS and trying to make the Pro Tour a little bit more sort of interesting. Don't know if it's going to work, to be honest with you. It was very confusing to an extent
Yeah.
with a group stage and a final stage. I mean, it did get confusing. I had to do a second take when I was sort of working it out on Asia earlier, saying, well, hang on a minute. Have we really lost those teams, or are they doing it all again tomorrow? And it does get confusing in that respect. But I don't know. It depends what they. Well, I don't know. Wargaming will obviously get the feedback on whether or not it worked from across the servers, and well, they will see for themselves. And maybe it'll be something that they drop and then try something different in summer, because summer's the last season really they can do anything. To be fair, before we get into the Twister season.
Exactly. So they need to sort of like figure out what they want to do by then. There are things about the current format that I do like. I like that it's not too long.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, like we have the professionals now that used to be in a period over like 3 weeks that are now condensed into 5 days, which is horror for us streamers, but I
Yeah.
think a lot more doable for players. And at the same time, we have the previous skill things that has been gone from about a month and a half to just 3 weeks. And I
Which
think
which
that part of it I really like.
That's much better because I mean, when it was a month and a half, it was too long, and everybody was getting tired. Players, audience, streamers, everybody was getting tired, and it was just churning it out and churning it out and churning it out. So I'm glad they trimmed down the previous skill
Yeah,
without actually diminishing the previous skill. To be fair,
because I think if you get it like this, you have 6 of them over a period of 3 weeks, 4 days per week. You know exactly what is expected of you in that regard, and I think that is doable. It is enough data that you get a proper top 8 out of it, assuming that you no longer have seeding abuse, but like with the battle data itself, that should be enough
well,
without
totally.
getting so lengthy that people are just like, why am I even doing this?
Well, look on the other side when let's say winter season, which wasn't the trimmed down PYS. Endgame decided to boycott an entire PYS. They just didn't want to play, and they still came top.
Yeah,
Now look at that. Compare that to the spring season. It's not possible to do that. You can't do that anymore. You can't boycott
no,
an entire PYS and hope to still get into the top eight. Wait, I mean, you could in theory, but it's a lot harder. Whereas when you had 8 of them stretched over a period of time, it was much easier.
hmm
And that's the big difference. So kudos to Wargaming for doing that. It's tailored it, it's focused it more, and it may, although I'm still in two minds on this one. It may persuade some other clans to start, coming into the tournament scene, but they won't with the current win rate seeding. It's as simple as that.
that really needs to change because there's basically right now, like half the scene is more or less a joke. People have made it into the top 8 everywhere that shouldn't have even been there. And while I understand them doing it when wargaming allows it, it's still for me morally incorrect, and it distorts the actual top 8.
It does. I mean, what disappoints me sometimes, some clans use it and they don't need to. To be honest, I mean, some don't need to use it. but they do it anyway, and it's
Hmm.
it's sort of, why would you do that? There's no reason for you to do that, guys.
Yeah.
And the problem is when they do it, you're right, it does distort it to the extent whereby it puts other clans off. I mean, I know clans on EU who have refused to take part in this season because of this, because they weren't prepared to start doing the win rate abusing, so to speak. Which,
And it, like,
it's a noble thing to do, but it's
but at the same time, it's also a fairly easy thing to do to show Wargaming we don't like this, because there isn't that much on the line here. Most of the players in the standard clan, so to speak, are young adults now. And of course, they can always use the money, but this isn't so much money that is worth all the aggro that you get for it.
exactly.
So yeah, I really hope that it will be sorted by summer season, but I'm kind of expecting that the seeding system won't be ready until autumn.
Well, that's true, and I'm hoping they will get it sorted before then, because if they don't, it'll diminish summer season. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. The room is up, by the way.
Yes, it is. And that's the last thing you want to do is ruin another season. And at least they've made the wise decision of not making it a tier 8.
True that. That is something at least. Also, by the way, you have about 5 minutes left to make your guess. So guess the damage that purple does in the second game of this matchup. Post your in-game name, your server, and the exact damage number that you think. So not 17k, but like 17,241 instead. So exact numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to Desert Sands now. We had some very interesting battles on EU there earlier, with mice going through the middle and everything.
Oh, we had more traditional strats on Desert Sands for EU, Every and I, and it was basically degenerating to a brawl into the desert, which is more
Oof.
traditional.
Yeah. Basically, the weird thing, I actually need to watch back that battle because I'm still not sure how BPS won that game. A1N1 basically sort of trapped BPS into pushing one of their T-22s.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the railroad aside from the T-22, getting lots of shots in. There
Right.
were mice pushing through the middle that arrived in time to actually help A1N1, and somehow BPS still won that game.
Wowzers.
I've still no idea how.
I heard you say, or I think it was you, said that A1N1 was struggling with ping on one of the games, though.
That was not that game, that was the other one. With the other, basically, there's been some big ping issues for especially A1N1 players, but we also saw the other teams complain about it in the chat and everything. And you could see with the way that the tanks were driving that they were having serious issues.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I've been, even just dropping into some of the games on both Asia and EU, not from streaming, just to play. The ping has been very unstable recently.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's because they're tinkering with things, maybe, possibly, but
I don't know. I do really hope that they will sort it because it is getting to weird proportions these days. And like get people having internet problems or device problems and everything. It happens, but it just happens a bit too often to think that yeah, it's just people's devices rather than servers.
well, I mean, Rolling Swarm and I were talking about this the other day in one of the coffee chats, and I showed them my internet speed because I was lagging in on YouTube. The game was lagging, and the FPS was dropping, and I was getting ping and everything. And it showed that my upload speed was like 490, my download speed was 490, and my ping was 6. So it's not my internet. It's as
That
simple
being
as
said, though,
that.
this is something that I've understood from Rexy Commandante before when he was still working at Wargaming, is that there's a whole lot of things that are between your close by server connection and the actual Wargaming server. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be the server in that regard. It can be anything on the route as well,
This is true.
which does not make things easier.
No. But work this one out. When I log on to Asia, I log on to the Singapore server. I know a guy who sat literally, a couple of kilometers away from that server, and I have better ping than he does.
Yeah, that's saying a lot. Oof.
So yeah, it's one of those things. The internet is a strange beast at the best of times,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
as you found out earlier.
Oh God, yeah. I'm hoping that everything will stay stable. I'm going to ask my there's a girl in the studio next to me, and the modem is actually in her studio. So I'm going to ask her to reset that before Sunday at the very least, just to be on the safe side. But I think it was mainly a glitch. Windows might have been doing things that I did not agree with, because Windows is Windows. But
Always
for
the
now,
same.
it seems steady again. And here we
But-
go into the first match of
So we should-
Purple versus
so-
Premo.
So they should stop guessing now, really.
Yeah, so moderators, type in the chat stop. And we'd love to hear from you who the winners are. 3 this time again. And there will be another giveaway with the third matchup beginning. So we have Purple actually focusing more on the city side than anywhere else, with Vickers even going over the ramp to get into the city. That on its own is very different from what we usually see.
That is not a traditional strat. In fact, Purple are being very aggressive here. They're completely avoiding the C cap, pushing right through.
I think they hoped to actually catch someone unaware in the city part there. But we actually have the Vickers capping the base. Base A has been reset. Base B is actually being taken.
It is, but Purple are now going to take C. They got away with that, to be honest with you.
The issue now is though that they will have 2 bases, but they also have 2 tanks that can easily be rushed. And having the city here is not exactly an advantage because the position in the desert is so much better.
It is, especially with the current meta as well, with the likes of Crown Wagons who can sit on those rails, haul down. Although Quarter is nowhere near the rails, Rob is literally on the rails. But you can control the map a lot better from the desert than you can from the city.
Yeah. Also want to point out, by the way, with the E5s actually pulling away from where they were, they're actually losing more HP than staying where they were. And now Darktronics is going back, but he's also meeting more tanks, so this is actually not working out as intended at all.
Orion is going to
Lighttronics
get...
now moving in as well. Purple is making a move, pushing into the desert, going after Tanner there.
Yeah, but that's always a dodgy situation to be in because they're getting caught onto the bridge and being bled. I mean, Darktronics is just being bled out here. And he's going to
Yeah.
go down. And Lighttronics as well is also being bled out. They're both one-shots.
Rai has also been taken out, so that's an AMX that they're missing as well. This is not really working as intended for Purple.
Well, I
They
mean,
had
they
a
took
good thing
down...
going. They needed those E5s there.
Yeah, I mean, they took down Tanner there, but they lost 2 doing it, and now they're going to lose another 2 potentially here. They're definitely going to use Unique.
Yeah.
Down he goes.
And base B is being stolen, so that's not going to save them either. Ryan taking that hit and getting tracked for it is very deadly. He takes out Ranger, but he's not going to make it out alive. Neither is Uncle Chicks.
No, and this is the danger of the city. Trying to break out into the desert when the other team is in the desert is very difficult. And as you saw there, I
don't
mean,
understand
you just
really
get bled.
why they did though. Those E5s, they had to be there, where they were, for the A and B thing for them to work. At the same time, I don't understand why. Sorry.
Bless you.
Why they had to. Thank you. Why they pushed into the desert at all. Those E5s, had they stayed where they were, they would have been a bit of a turkey shoot. Well, basically, anyone from Premo would have been a turkey shoot going after them because they had tanks there to support them. It's actually those two E5s moving out of that position that cost them the game.
It is, but looking at it, maybe Purple was sat there thinking, well, look, trying to defend the B and the C cap is a nightmare because they can flank us from either side and come through the middle at the same time, and they'll split our forces, and it then becomes a turkey shoot just on the other side of the tracks. So I think their philosophy behind it was, well, if we can push through onto the bridge with the E5s, we can tie some tanks up while our AMX and our Vickers go into the desert. It just didn't go according to plan because it's very difficult to break out of that city. It's very difficult.
But the thing is that they didn't really need to because they had that base advantage. They could have let Pramo come to them.
They did, but I think they were worried about Cora and the other Kranwagen, actually, and Rob, coming over the tracks. And when I do the flyovers, when you take the city, if you do the C strat, the flanks are very open. They're very difficult to defend those flanks, to be honest with you. You can't really put tanks there because when they do push over one of those flanks, there's a lot of space between the buildings next to the tracks and then the buildings behind it that you've got to cover.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to do it. Which is why we generally don't see at this level them doing those type of strats anymore. It's normally around the city area. It's normally around the desert area with an eye on the B cap, but on the going down the tracks on the city side. So it'll be interesting to see how Purple change, if they change their strat or if they do the same thing.
Definitely. I kind of think one of the things that I do like also about the last match is that they do things that are out of the box. They're not standard. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. But that is one of the things that I loved about Purple yesterday as well. And then it generally did work out for them.
And here we go. We've got a more traditional strat from Purple coming this time. And you can see Pramo doing their traditional strat as well, taking those IS-4s down on the city side of the tracks. Tantan now able to go into the desert with Samuel being able to put a little bit of pressure onto Uncle Chicks.
That was interesting on its own though, because Uncle Chicks, the way that he was positioned, those Kranwagens should have gotten their shots in, but the way that basically Tantan and Samuel were meandering, they didn't.
And that's also a danger because those Kranwagens are there to do two purposes. One, stop the push from Samuel, and secondly, to get cross shots as they go over the tracks. But the problem is there was nothing going over the tracks because if you look, even Stephen and Cora didn't move.
And this again, now we have Dark and Lightronics both pushing 1010, moving their way into the E100's line of fire. Not a good thing.
No, they've come round too far realistically in their attempt to get down Tantan. They will take him down, no doubt about
a lot
it.
of HP.
That's the problem. It has cost them a lot. But saying that, they've got more HP at the moment than Premo.
And they still got a gun extra. So as long as Darktronics actually survives this, which he does for now, they now have a 2-gun advantage. Darktronics is not going to survive this one though. They have 2 bases, they're pushing on, they kind of have to. They just need to be careful to not lose too much HP going for that. Cora now next in line to be destroyed, and he does. Purple is definitely biting back this match.
They are, and I'm wondering what Sierra and Tanner are doing, because with their mobility, they should be hassling these Crown Wagons.
I think they're maybe just shocked.
There could be a bit of that. I mean, now they've lost the E100, so it's 3 against far too many. This is going to Purple, whichever way you look at it. Tanner's about to go. There he goes. 2 against too many now.
Yeah. especially with Sierra just taking a big hit there as well.
Hmm.
Even Steven taking another hit. There are two low HP targets, but they're just too many guns for Primo to deal with only two tanks, one of which is now one shot for anyone.
Yeah, I mean that strat worked much better for Purple. Far it was, they were still aggressive. They got away with some of that aggression by, I think they just took Pramo off guard, completely off guard.
Also,
And
by the way, just want to point out that in uh, both battles here, it was the whole tanks in the middle that
hmm
made or broke the game.
yes,
Also, the result for the giveaway is 17,896.
that is it.
Also, just screen. I always screenshot the results that way, just to be sure that I have like the proof.
Yeah. Yes, I'm the same.
Beautiful game.
Yeah, well, it's evened it up as we go into Winter Malanovka.
Different map, different tactics. Definitely going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here.
Well, I'm already surprised with the T57 Heavy making a showing for Purple. Not so surprised with the VK90 or the E100 for Rob on Pramo's side, or even Stephen Innermouse. I mean, we always get some form of super heavy in the teams going in to overlook that, not generally the B cap, but the general area around there. I am interested with the 57 heavy though, especially as a lone wolf 57 heavy, not doubled up, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. They have used them yesterday as well, but then they had two, and they made all the difference. But that was on Rockfield, so very different map, different situation,
Hmm.
and different enemy.
I mean, the only thing that's making me scratch my head at the moment, both teams, okay, one has got a light and one has got a medium, but they've only got one of each, and there's a lack of mobility in the teams for. I mean, Winter Melanovka is actually quite a big map,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be interesting to see how they play this. Are they going to be looking for the A cap with pushing their heavies down those ramps, or are they looking for dominating round the B cap general area in the middle? It'd be an interesting one.
For sure. I'm always curious where people will go because with these lineups, I kind of expect base A to more or less be ignored, but you generally do get a spotting moment there.
And there you go. I mean, we've already got Patana and Sierra, an E5 and a T22 heading towards the A cap. And Rain there in purple, was heading that direction just to get the spots, but now he's hanging back.
He's sort of like feeling, I do not want to be here. He's waiting for that one spot, but he has to be careful because as soon as he's lit up, he's going to lose HP.
Well,
So is he actually spotting them?
yeah, he spotted Tano and Sierra, but they now know he's there, so that's why he's hightailing it out of there before he gets spotted.
Yeah. And base C is also being kept. Base B is not really being left alive. We have Lightronics now moving into that position. Not sure if he's going to be able to because he did get spotted and immediately he starts spinning back, not wanting to be there anymore.
And I don't blame him because he knows that there are two super heavies out there somewhere. Even Steven has now been spotted, but Rob hasn't. And he knows that those super heavies are there for a reason, and that reason is to stop anything going into that B cap. Even though they're a
Mm-hmm.
little bit further back. And now we should see Tanner probably going up onto the ramp.
No, he's
And
going on
he's,
to one of the side ramps.
yep, yep, I expected that because Lightronics is there and so is Rain. And he doesn't know where the Crown Wagons or the 57 Heavy is, but he's in an E5. He can get back down that ramp, get into good position, go haul down,
Oof.
but he missed the shot. And now,
That would have been so naughty though if he had gotten that shot in.
but he
But
needed
immediately the
to.
ground wagons are responding.
That's why he needed to get that shot in because now he's going to be in a world of pain. But he has
He's
got
not
backup.
actually. He
Well,
has
he's got,
backup indeed.
yeah, but he really
Oof.
want. Yeah, he needed to make the shot on the Vickers to be fair, because Sierra's now in a little bit of a pickle.
Yeah. T57 Heavy now on the drum reload though, so that's going to be might be painful for them. Ryan making a move for base A, but Tanner is still there, so they have to be careful.
Yeah, Sierra was umming and ahhing about the 57 heavy. I don't think he counted the shots,
Oof.
and now he really is in a world of pain. Darktronics will finish
Yeah.
him off.
Ryan though is now a one shot, so he has to be basically running away and staying out of the line of fire, trying to keep himself alive because that is very important now as well, especially with Lightronics being taken out as well.
But if you
There
look
are
at this,
four tanks from Purple dealing with one lonely Tanner,
and I was
and
about to
that means
say,
that sorry,
yeah. Now look at the middle of the map.
yeah. And Tanner is there we go. He's only just been taken out. But that
Yeah,
has given Pramo a big advantage on the middle of the map. They can also easily get C.
which is what Samuel is looking for, I believe.
So
But
even though they have a gun advantage in the form of Rhine, with only very little HP, I think Purple's actually gotten themselves in a tougher position than they were before.
well, they have, because when you look at it from a different viewpoint, we've got an E100 that's pretty healthy still, a mouse that is almost on full health, and everything on Purple's team is pretty easy to pen unless it's all down.
Yeah.
And that's the danger here. I mean, Ryan really can't do too much. He's a one shot to everything.
And they need to get a base back at some point. You see Uncle Chick's now peeking and paying for it. But they don't have the luxury of waiting.
No, they don't. But the thing is, whilst Pramo are a tank down, look at the hit point difference.
Yeah. Mako is getting rushed now by Rai, who's actually shooting the E100 rather than the person that he could actually clip, and he's taken out for it. Had he gone straight for the Kranenwagen, that might have been a little bit different. But he decided to shoot the E100 instead, and that is something I can't understand.
Nor can I. And as I was saying, I mean, every single tank they've got is easily penned, unless they're hauled down. And as much as I love the 57 heavy, that E100 is going to love it.
Mako has now been killed though, and they're now focusing on the E100. Basically, the thing here is that Ryan is now making his way to the other side, and the E100 is hoping to take him out. But basically, if Ryan dies, they've lost the game. They've actually lost the game already, because
They
we need
have.
1k points.
And that's the thing. And it's it's very, very, very tricky indeed to push. They managed. The thing is, they pushed too many tanks down to take out Tanner. I think
Yeah,
that was the error there. And
and Tanner survived for too long, even then.
correct.
So a minute and a half left before we go into the fourth match of this best of five. Pressure is on Purple. If they lose another match, then they are out of the tournament as a whole. Whereas Pramo still has a chance to... they only need to win one more in order to make it back to fight Rain.
Yeah, exactly.
And we see two 60s now making an appearance for the second battle on Winter Malinovka. This is basically,
And
again,
the
I've said
TVP.
it before, and I'll say it again. This is why I love Purple. This is not the standard lineup that you would expect. And yes, it can. There's a reason that we call tanks meta, and it's not because they perform badly in tournaments. But out of the box thinking can get out of the box results. So it can potentially work, but it will be tricky, and they have to make it happen. And it is still, it's Purple, and it's Pramo that they're up against. So they can do this, but it's not going to be easy.
I mean, they have got great mobility there. The only downside is once those TVPs have unloaded, they are incredibly vulnerable. And to an extent, so is the 260. If you put it in the wrong place, it's easily penned. Great mobility, great DPM, but it can be easily penned.
Yeah. So it will all depend on whether or not they then can keep their HP pool safe.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, with that, it's they've got to be looking to dominate round. They've got to be looking to dominate down at the A cap, or maybe even the C cap. There's no way they can push through the middle. And I say that they'll probably push through the middle now, and
The thing is that they kind of have to. They have to make a move for base B or C, because if they let Primo get away with it again, getting those two caps,
no, they're
then
doing
yeah, we have
exactly.
PvPs.
Yeah, they're doing exactly what I thought. The TVPs and the 2.6s pushing down into the A cap area. They're going to be looking to try and flank around the back of them, which is why Pramo, if you notice, aren't moving many tanks. They've got Rob, Sierra, and even Steven.
They
Not
can
that you,
smell it. They know that there's something
yeah.
coming from their back end.
Well, if a noob at tournaments like me can guess it, so can they.
At the
And this is
same
the
time, though, the DVPs are actually returning. It's the 260s that
yeah.
are making not so much a push, but making an appearance.
But even Steven didn't move, and it's very rare that you have a mouse parked where he is. To be honest
Yeah,
with you, and
they
he's
probably
parked there
didn't
for
expect
yeah.
that.
No,
That
and
is
he's parked there.
something that I always appreciate the most about tournaments. Intuitive. In this case, Pramo smelled that there would be something coming up behind them,
Yeah,
and they changed the position that he would be in.
yeah, and they also kept Rob back in the Kranwagen. Sierra's now moved forward, so they're only tying up two tanks here. And Snow Fox is in a great position, totally unspotted, and overlooking anything that tries to make a move down towards that B cap. That's a great position to be in, and they don't know
Yeah.
he's there. I mean, that's the other thing.
Oof. Big hit there into even Steven. What they need to be careful for, though, and this is, I think, why Lightronics is also getting out of there. I think they know that Primo is going to be moving, so they kind of just have to not be there. The Kiss Warrior getting spotted there is peculiar as well. Wonder
Yeah,
who. Oh, that's probably Snowfox that did spotting there.
yeah, but look at Snow Fox drops into the B cap. Okay, he does get it reset, but he managed to try. He managed to get to the B cap without being spotted. He was eventually spotted once he got in there. But now Cora has managed to move up again, unspotted. And if you look, Purple are now basically contained down the one flank, exactly where Pramo would like them to be.
Exactly. So they have to make a move at some point. It will be up to Purple to make that move, but pushing headlong into Primo is never a good idea.
And this is clever reading by Pramo. This is very clever reading by Pramo. If you look, Tanner is moving back because he knows that there's a danger somewhere.
You see
Uncle.
Primo moving backwards now. This means potentially giving up the C cap. But this is interesting gameplay though. Snowfox is actually the target that they're going for.
Which is very clever, and it's a good call.
This is, again, I said it before, I'll say it again. This is why I love Purple. This is not what you would expect. And that is exactly why it's interesting to see. Now, though, they have to be careful. Uncle Chick's Darktronics and Lightronics are in a world of pain now. Lightronics
They
is
are.
not going to get out of here alive.
No, and now you got Pramo doing their counter push, and this
Yeah.
is what they've been waiting for. They're waiting for Purple to make their move. Oh, down goes a mouse.
Yeah.
A lot of hit
Kiss
points.
Warrior now also taking base B. But Uncle Chicks and Darktronics are not going to survive this either.
No, they're
This is
not.
going down to the wire, though.
Here comes Rye in the E100 trying to help out, relieve some of the pressure. Good ram into Sierra. Problem is, those TVPs. Oh, a lot of hit points going down there. The TVPs should be reloaded. Oh, one is. Oh, they both are now. Now they're going to be dangerous.
Oh, oh, that was so close. Split second further, and Purple would have had this.
Yeah,
If they take out Mako, and they do, they have it.
they do. They turn
What
it
a
around.
game!
That was a good play by Purple. It worked for them, just.
Yes,
Uh,
they got lucky. I have to say that
they did.
they did get lucky. But amazing. This is basically that out of the box thing is what I love about streaming NA this season. Because we had matches like this yesterday and it blew me away, and we have matches like this today and it's doing the same thing. I love all these clans involved tonight. I adore Rain, I adore Primo, and I adore Purple. But that out of the box stuff that Purple does, it's bloody awesome.
It worked for them. Just, I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Losing the mouse and losing Snowflake there in the IS4. Snowflake. Snow
Yeah, it sounds
Fox.
so bad,
Snow
doesn't it?
Fox. Because I just see Snow F. You know, I always keep thinking of Snowflake for some reason. Maybe because I've not seen snow for like 3 years. If they wouldn't have lost Snow Fox like they did, it could have been a different game. But they lost Snow Fox far too easily, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And now we go into the tiebreaker. Different map. So that's also going to basically put the pressure on both of them. Because now they know they're both one win away from making it through and one loss away from getting kicked out.
Well, it looks like Pramo are going to be looking to dominate the B and the C cap and the A cap here. They've got no medium and no light, whereas Purple have dropped into a Leo 1 their reign. So
And that
they've
being
got
said, they have Kraanwagens with speed boosts.
they do, but they could send them to the deserts. But with those IS4s and the lack of E5s, I don't know if they would. If they had E5s, then yes, the C cap does come into play.
I think though that with Purple playing as they are, Premo's best tactic would be to pull the rug right from under them. So going where Purple would not expect them. So it kind of depends on whether they're going to play to Purple's weaknesses or their own strengths.
Well, indeed, and I mean, Pramo have got a significant HP advantage. It's almost a Vickers light, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. The final match of this matchup that will determine who gets to go to the next stage.
And I think you're right. I think Pramo are going to do exactly what you said, which is go where Purple don't expect them.
And Ryan spawning Snowfox there is actually going to save his bum.
Yeah, he hightails it back out of there, as you can see.
Because the thing is, Darktronics and Rye and the Kiss Warrior can stay where they are. They are in good hold-down position for the tanks that they are in. But basically, it's the Leo that is such a juicy target that just needs to not be there.
Well, he's
There's a
done his
big
job.
gun advantage for Premo, though.
But the Leo's done his job. He's spotted tanks coming through. Where there's one, there's generally two when it comes to heavies.
So in this case, they know that there's at least 3 Primo tanks there.
Hence the
They
reason
can
why they're
guess
now
that they're a
capping A.
wall. And
That's
you
why they've
see
dropped.
the E5s pulling back now.
Yeah, well, they don't need to be there anymore. The A cap is taken. They've got the advantage.
Yeah, but they need to be careful because right now, Rai is basically his purpose is spotting for his team. Base B is now being kept. Even Steven lost a bit of HP. He's actually getting pushed in the city.
But even Steven's now in extreme danger. He has no support. Even though he's come to this side of the city, he hasn't actually got any support. It's difficult for them to push there because but Uncle Cheeks is going to. And why not? They can get him out of the game and cap B at the same time. They may
Yeah,
lose a
but
tank.
they need to move faster because they are losing Rai and they're losing him fast. So they need
They
to take
are.
out even Steven because that is the one that it started with. The Kiss Warrior is almost gone as well. They're
Kiss
leaving
Warrior,
even
yeah.
Steven alive.
That's a mistake. They should have taken him out. They've finally taken him down. But he should have gone down a lot earlier than that.
Darktronics is in trouble, and for some reason they're not helping
No.
Uncle Chicks with Mako either. This is a little bit all over the place. Darktronic is going to be taken out. Unique will be the next in line. Mako gets taken out there. But it will be very tricky. Purple is spread out. They're not supporting each other. They're not focus firing.
And this is what where it all comes down to, you know, in these type of environments in the top eight, you've got to have the focus fire, you've got to have the call, and you know if you're not focusing fire, if you're not picking off those tanks and getting those guns out of the game, those low hit point targets, it can be disastrous. And now it's two
Yeah.
against too many, and it is disastrous. They
In
had
this case,
control.
Pramo responded well, smelled weakness, and went after that. But I
Yeah.
think in this case, it's more that Purple lost than Pramo won.
And I have to agree with that. I mean, they had control. Purple had control of this map.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, they got the A cap. They had the opportunity to get even Steven out the game and then rotate back and consolidate around the B cap and around the A cap area, going haul down in those dunes. It would have made it harder for Pramo, to be fair, to push onto that B cap.
Also, if the E5, they knew that almost all of Pramo was there. I get that they left Raj in that position to spot the people in C, and he could have like pulled back into safety relatively easily. I do not understand why the E5 stayed where they were. It just almost seemed like a belated reaction from Purple, like, oh shit, there's so many tanks that we actually need to do something.
Maybe.
Because Pramo is very dangerous when they move in a wolf pack.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was a miscommunication. Maybe they were meant to
Yeah.
rotate back through their spawn and take up consolidating positions, taking the high ground where you normally get the TDs on a public match. And maybe they just thought, because don't forget, these players have to think for themselves as well. Maybe they thought,
That
oh,
too.
no, there's too many tanks here. We're going to get wrecked as we try and retreat. Which is probably why they held their ground, which probably was a bigger mistake.
Yeah. Also, just wanted to point out, by the way, with that we are talking about how it was more Purple lost than Primo won. That being said, Purple has played fantastically these last few days, and it's been an absolute pleasure watching them play. So massive commiserations to them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but unfortunately, we do have to lose a clan today, and from this group, it is going to be Purple. From the other group, well, it's going to be either GG or my clan, Joker.
Dun 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 dun.
And it's GG.
No. Yeah, Joker is still there. They're going to up against Apex. Actually, Apex was one of those clans again where I was like, I've never heard of them, but I've actually understood that they're actually Pincer's primary team. I was a little bit shocked yesterday to see Pincer get knocked out because that is one of the most well-known clan tags for me, at least tournament-wise, NA. But
Yeah.
Apex is basically primary Pincer.
Well, you know some of the guys in Apex. Commie
Mm-hmm.
is also floating around, I believe, on EU, and EFXD is, I believe, the F.
That's actually something that I've noticed. There's a lot of EU players playing on NA right now, and a lot of NA players playing on EU. Which is interesting because that actually means like, I mean, I feel the pressure as a streamer, streaming two or more servers basically. Can you imagine having to train with two different teams, also having to keep track of the teams that are different with different tactics and everything,
Oh,
and
indeed,
still
it's-
fighting at this level in two servers?
Yeah, it's not easy. But I mean, a lot of people always said, "Oh, they don't like this cross server." I don't mind it. I mean, I think it's great that there's such camaraderie across the servers. To be honest with you, and
Absolutely.
I know people will always say, "Oh, but EU server should be for EU players, etc., etc." I don't see any harm in
Yeah.
it. To be honest with you, none at all.
I think all servers should be for everyone.
Totally.
There's perks and cons to every server. For me,
Mhm.
NA is perfectly playable. So if I would prefer to play on NA, I do not understand why that should not be allowed. I get that you want to avoid, like, we had all Russian teams on the EU server before because they felt the EU server was easier. And I can imagine something like that happening with Asia as well, because Asia, as much as I love them, they're always a bit behind in the clan scene. So, like an RU or an EU professional team rolling out there, if they can handle the ping issues, would have a massive impact. I am glad that Wargaming is making allowances, but I
Yeah.
think that players that have been around since on the server that they're on since like 2014, 2015, before tournaments were even a thing in the game,
Hmm.
should be an exception to the rule. Whoopsie, for instance, is a primary example of that, because he should be playing on the Russian server according to where he's located.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's always been EU.
And this is the thing. If you choose to play a particular server, that should be your choice. You shouldn't be forced to do X, Y, and Z. I understand there are potential legal implications with prize money, etc., etc. I understand that, and I understand that for sponsorship, they want to see all Russian teams on the RU server, all EU teams on the EU server, etc., etc. That I get, but I've never been a great believer in saying, well, just because you live in this particular part of the world, then you can only play that particular server. You should be free to choose what server you want to play, to be honest.
Exactly, as long as you commit to it.
Yeah,
Like it'd be
totally.
different if I start an NA account now and I decide to go for tournaments. That
Oh, of
would be
course.
different.
Yeah.
But like especially the old accounts, yeah, they should just be exempt from the location rule when it comes to tournaments, in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's just one of those things that I've always found quirky. But as I said, the game has evolved since those rules came into place. And thankfully,
Hmm.
Wargaming are re-looking at them and re-evaluating them, which is a good thing.
I
But
do
it's quite,
like that they added that exception rule. I
yeah.
think that's also why we see that NA EU crossover happening so much now.
Hmm. But it's quite interesting going back to what you said earlier about, there used to be a lot of RU teams on EU because they thought EU was easier. Well, there's a lot of RU players again on EU, and they're shockingly bad, to be fair, some of them.
Yeah, that too. Well, we used to have like remember first on EU
Yeah,
server,
yeah.
they basically played at the highest level, and the rule about the nations that you have to belong to basically suddenly being enacted meant that that team could not perform at all anymore.
Well, we had the same in winter season, remember, with Mercy. So we had a Mercy team on EU, which was a mixture of both RU based and EU based players, I believe.
Hmm.
And the big question mark was, if they get through, will they be able to actually go through?
Yeah.
And that was a big question mark, because nobody was actually really sure if it was going to happen. To be fair, but they didn't get through, so it never became to fruition in the end.
Sorry, I just got an invite to a room that's got like a lot of Z's. So I'm kind
Okay.
of curious if Purdue is actually. I think they're a little bit tired, or they assume that we are tired, and they'd be right.
Yeah. And with that, give me 2 minutes while I go and get a coffee.
Yeah.
I'm flaking again.
Uh,
But I'm going to leave you talking on my stream, so
I'll try and be entertaining.
I won't be too long.
Yeah, no worries. This is one of the things though. We get up at around 2 a.m. to basically just wake up and prepare and get set up for the stream and everything. And then at 3 a.m. we start to stream, at least, well, like 10 to 3 we start to stream. And in this case, it just really helps to commentate together, because can you imagine either of us with our half dead brain having to talk everything on our own? It is very, very nice to be able to talk to someone, to have actual conversations on the stream, to basically just talk. Even when you're in the middle of a match, you will both point out different things. And it also means that you don't have to be like hyper vigilant yourself. And that just makes it very, very relaxing to commentate. And for me, especially with Fujit, it is always such a pleasure to just be able to co-commentate with him. Because it just feels natural. I don't have to try hard for it. I will just have fun. It is relaxing, it's comfortable and everything. So yeah. For me, that's the primary reason why I much prefer co-commentating to solo commentating. Which, like, if you have like one stream per day, then it wouldn't be an issue. But the thing is that we have 3 streams per day right now, and then it definitely helps to just have someone on board. So yeah, basically just looking at the bracket things, that is all worked up now. Let's actually have a look at what's happening with the challenges. We have OG and Rival Straight has been kicked out. That's also a surprise. And on the other side, we see a Void and PPS, which is pretty much a troll clan. We had a conversation on the test server earlier where basically the players from Void were called Voidlings. And Austin did not seem to like that. And as because of that, Darren, as in Meaty69, has been trolling him with it. And the thing is that it actually has an effect because now I can't think of members of the clan Void as anything other than Voidlings. So that's basically a thing now. And I think you hear Fujit returning.
Indeed.
Probably
To
with
the-
more caffeine.
A lot more caffeine to the sound of voidlings. I was like, what on earth is this? What's going on here?
Did you hear what I said about them? Or
No, I just caught voidlings as I came back when my headset kicked back in again.
basically on the tester server, someone called people from Void Voidlings. And Austin did not seem to like that. So, of course, Darren decided to troll him with it and won't call people from Void any other way now. The thing is that that sort of stuff is catchy. So, I can't think of people from Void as any other way but Voidlings now.
That'll probably, yeah. There are strange things like that would be catchy, yes. And no doubt it'll stick eventually and they'll get used to it.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, for the third giveaway, we're going to give 4 passes away on either of our streams.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, just which clan are we going for? Pramo or Rain?
Well, I think Rain got there first, so we should be going for Rain. And we haven't done Rain yet.
No, exactly. So guess the damage Rain does in the second battle of the next matchup to win one of 4 June battle passes. Post your in-game name, your server, and your damage, your exact damage guess to enter. So basically now taking the old message away and pinning the new one. Begin. As per usual, only a valid entry can win. If you've already won, do not enter again because you can technically win more battle passes, but it won't actually add anything extra on your account. So if you won, sit it out.
Absolutely. So we're not going out until another 20 minutes, I think, isn't it?
No, I think it's at 42. Yeah, in about 4 minutes we will have a room invite.
Oh, it's 42. I thought it was 50. Oh, no, it was 51, the other one. That's right.
Yeah.
I always get confused.
Our brain is basically gone at this stage. I've already warned people. And like I said, for the matches that we've had, I happily get up in the middle of the night because these are matches that are worth watching and commentating and everything. There have been
totally.
previous times in previous seasons where I got up in the middle of the night and I will end up with a feeling like, is this what I got up for? So I'm glad that that's definitely not the case here.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's painful to get up at the well, for me, it's like 4 a.m. It's painful to do that. It's after going to bed at like 2 a.m. because the EU stream finishes for me at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I sort of have to do other things, and then finally you fall asleep about 2, so you only really get a little bit of a sleep. And whilst it's painful and whilst it's an inconvenience, I wouldn't miss it for the world, to be fair.
Yeah. But it's especially right now, this is for me so far the best season from NA that I've ever seen. And that's saying something, because I've been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's been an entertaining season this spring season. It's been a lot more competitive, and I think a lot of that is down to the fact that it is a reduced PYS, which has made it
Yeah,
more intense, which I think is fantastic. I do think it's fantastic.
absolutely.
They just need to sort other things out, but that side of it's great. Reduced PYS, yes, seal of approval. Win rate seeding and this double elimination malarkey for pro. Okay, confusing, but okay, but I'll give it time.
I
Win
still,
rate, so you
I,
get rid of it. Get rid of it.
I was talking to Jack about this earlier. Like, if they had gone for a double elimination system for 8 teams rather than 2 for 4, this match and the next match would technically be obsolete.
Correct.
So for me, that would still be a big improvement if they go for one double elimination system rather than two. Because this is
Yeah.
just adding extra time and basically adding extra everything that technically has no added value for me. At least
Well,
in my opinion, I should say.
well, this is where I get confused because they did a great thing on the PYS, they condensed it, and then did a strange thing on the Pro Tour and they extended it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. But yeah, I get wargaming testing things out. Like I said, they basically have to be sure what format they want come autumn season because that is always the big one. Summer season, I wouldn't take too seriously as well. For me, spring and autumn are the big ones. And then autumn is like at least twice as big as spring.
Oh, just answering a message.
So here we are just waiting now.
Yeah, it should be coming through anytime soon. Won't be too long now.
Yeah, about a minute away.
But I mean, I was saying this with every on the EU server. These two are now secure. They're just jostling now for positioning, basically. And when you're at this stage, and this is why I'm sort of scratching my head with this double elimination. Neither team is going to show their hand on any strats or any things they got tucked up their sleeve for the next few days, for the next round, basically, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a very strange scenario to be in. It's like being improve your skill number 6. It doesn't count really. Once you're in the top 8, you're in the top 8. You're just jostling for position, and you're not really going to give anything away. And you don't throw 100. You don't put 110% in anymore. You put like 95% in. And will we see a different result? We saw a different result on EU, where people. Teams lost against their opponent in the first round, went into the lower bracket, came back against the same opponent in this round, and then turned them over completely. So it's all very strange.
But that's the thing. I think for me, NA is so far the only server that is sort of like following precedent. EU is like overturned. It's weird. It's not necessarily bad. It's just weird.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have 3 minutes and about 40 seconds left to go before we go into the match, starting on Alpenstadt.
Alpenstadt's always an interesting map. Are they going to take? You generally see super heavies coming out again, making an appearance, namely either an E100 or a mouse, and again they're not disappointing so far.
Yeah.
Although they're not readied up yet.
What I always find interesting is that they can go so many directions on this map, and it's actually impossible to guess where they're going to go, regardless of their lineup, because you never know if they're going to make an A-B push or a B-C push. Like in the start, like not actually to cap, but to dominate that side of the map.
Well, this is what you normally see with these guys, with those super heavies. It depends where they put them. They're there to obviously dissuade anybody to going into B. But recently I've been seeing a lot of clans changing where they would traditionally put these super heavies. and instead of putting them on the ramps either side of the B, so there's like a little sort of causeway from the river that comes up where you can sort of go slightly haul down a little bit and overlook B from the one spawn, which is it's the south spawn, I believe, and then from the north spawn, no, the other way around, and then from the north spawn, you would normally go where there's like a little cafe with like little tables and chairs outside and a rock, and they normally stick it there. But they've been changing that, and they've been taking their super heavies more into the town, overlooking the bridge area, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see where they put their super heavies on this one. We have got a mouse and an E100 so far for Pramo, and a mouse for Rain. So, super heavies are making an appearance. Makes more sense for Pramo to take 2 from their spawn point than it does for Rain to take 2. So that's not surprising. The only thing that surprises me again, and even more so on this map, is Pramo's lack of mobility with any mediums or lights. And you can see his Royal Fatness is in here, his Vickers, which he's a very good player in, as we all know. Even though it hasn't got a missile attachment to throw things across the other side of the map.
But that is something that I've noticed so far this season as a whole. Mobility is overrated, which is not something that I agree with. But there's a whole number of maps, and with the current meta, especially with the speed boost, people can get away without taking any med or light at all. Especially on the smaller maps. And for me, Alpenstadt counts as one of the smaller maps.
Yeah, it can, but it's very difficult to cover all 3 bases on Alpenstadt realistically. And having that Vickers, you can get the spots at A, run away, and then go and cap C. and that's where it becomes a bit more crucial.
Exactly. At the same time, because the map is fairly small, especially in the beginning, none of the bases will be sort of like neglected. There will be people at every side.
Yeah, there basically will be. And, looking at the way Rain is sort of readying up here, I'm wondering where they're going to go at the moment. Maybe it's difficult to say if they're going to go A B or C A or C B. It's incredibly difficult to say
I would expect a B action plan for Rain here.
Mm-hmm.
I've been very wrong before, so I what do I know? But
well, as I keep saying to everybody.
If we were in a random battle, then that is where I would go. The thing is that you are in a tournament battle with 7 players that are communicating together, that have worked tactics together. They can go anywhere.
And as I say in every stream, I mean, these guys have multiple strats for these maps. It's not one size fits all. I mean, they have numerous strats. And we can see Pramo is doing the B and the C, and Rain is doing the A and the B, as quite rightly predicted from their respective spawns.
His Royal Fatness is positioning himself to get out of there very fast if he is spotted, but there's no one there.
No, Pramo are looking to dominate around the middle area, try and get the C cap, put some pressure on the B cap. They're not going to take the B cap, I don't think, although even Steven looks like he is making a move towards that direction, past the little coffee shop. See?
Also, just want to point out, stop guessing now.
Oh, yes. Stop guessing, yes.
And Pramo has actually bypassed base C altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going for more of a push. They are getting crossfired a little bit.
But it's where Mako and Tanner are that we've been seeing some of the super heavies going more often now. The reason being is because Rain, I mean, look at Zaytu and TJ. They can stay there quite happily, haul down and prevent B and get shots onto those crown wagons at the same time. But what Pramo are doing is very clever.
Sierra and Ranger are.
That's very clever. They've come right over the river, trying to get round the back here. Now look, they've made Dragon Krieg come off the B cap.
And basically Rain is pushing back, but that led to a lot of crossfire here. Dragon Krieg might be in trouble for just being there. Yeah. Which might have been what Pramo was going for, really.
But it's allowed even Steven to now cap the B. which is bizarre on the grounds that they didn't get the C cap either. So, but Sierra's going to go down here.
Hated Fate is not too far behind though. Dragon Creek gets taken out first. Even Steven has been set on fire, gets taken out straight after. It can still go every which way, but there's a lot of basically TJ and his Royal Fatness are not really a part of the battle, so they're also not part of the targets that are there for Premo.
That's true. I mean, Rob is trying to rectify that, but he's an E100 against a Vickers and a IS4, so hence the reason he's backing away. I mean, they need to get Zaytu and Glory down before Ranger goes. They got one
and
down.
Basically, Rain has 2 bases. Tanner is going after base A. Rob is not long for this world. But basically, his Royal Fatness has to stay alive here. That is a primary thing. He has most of the HP, but he's also the most juicy target here. Fadu and Zaytu are both one-shots. Dragon Creep's corpse is keeping Zaytu alive right now.
Yeah, now you would expect Mako to not make any move until he's fully loaded, because then he can clip out both the IS4 and Fadu in one go. But he made a move and Fatness punished him for it, and so did TJ.
Oof. And that was a fire to boot.
Yeah, I mean, so there we go.
And
They've
there
taken
they
the
both
2.
go.
So it's 3 against 2. Rain do have the advantage though, hit points and bases. But Fatness, oh, that's a big shot, but he will get the drop on quarter here with his DPM. And there you go.
Mako shot missing there. This is basically Tanner is securing caps. So now Rain is not getting any points anymore. And we have his Royal Fatness running away now to probably rectify that. Meaning that TJ will be alone versus 2. So that's not generally a good thing.
No, it's not, but Mako is chasing Royal Fatness, which is not generally a good thing either. They should both be focusing TJ or Fatness at the same time. TJ being, I mean, Mako could get Fatness out, but Tanner is now potentially in a world of problems. Although this could be a mistake.
Not really, though. He's going to take out Fatness. And that means that Primo has won this game.
Not necessarily. I mean, TJ here, if he can take out Mako, he may get... Although Tanner is doing the right thing, he's waiting for his full reload. He's not getting involved. He's letting Mako be whittled down. There's no point trying to save him. Mako was always going to go down.
The thing is, Rain is no longer getting any points.
That's the thing. And now Tanner will be fully loaded. He won't be able to clip out TJ. He knows that.
He's not going for that. He's going for C.
No, he's going for C. Yeah.
Goes after A, they will have it if he keeps C.
Yep.
Because TJ will have to cap, he then has to move towards base B. It probably won't be on time.
No, it won't be. If he caps C, then basically, yeah, it's all over because TJ can't chase him. And all he's going to do now is he probably won't even look at the B cap. He's probably going to maneuver himself to a position where he can take the A cap.
Exactly.
No, he is going to look at the B cap.
Basically, he's not going to make it. This is Premo's game because Tanner has been incredibly smart.
Well, Tanner can take the hits.
And now he's just basically
there you go.
keeping TJ away. And there we go.
Wow.
I have to say, Tanner, man of the match here, because his capping and moving around and securing those caps made Premo win here.
Which, by the way, is no mean feat in a Kranwagen.
No, exactly. But this is also where that speed boost made all the difference.
Yeah, but getting from A all the way to B, all the way to C, you only got one speed boost. So it's still not an easy thing for him to do.
Absolutely not, no.
Not in a Kranwagen. But look at TJ, 5.2k damage. I mean, he did what he could. Fatness did what he could. But really, I totally agree with you. I mean, that is spectacular gameplay by Tanner.
This is basically
very clever.
It is a lot about the focus fire and getting the kills in and all of that. In this case, it was just as much about playing supremacy, getting those caps. I think that if his Real Fatness had actually run away, it might have been different because he could have outrun them, and TJ might have been able to take out one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the idea behind that was, I think his Royal Fatness was hoping that between him and TJ they could have taken out Mako, and then that would have left TJ to fend off against Tanner, whilst Royal Fatness went around capping all the bases. But it just didn't work out that way. I mean,
Yeah.
they got good shots into Royal Fatness, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, and his Royal Fatness turning back to help DJ is in this case what cost him his life. I mean, we will never know what would have exactly happened had he stayed alive, but I think that they would have had a better chance then.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, they would have had a better chance. Yes, because TJ could have focused on on Tanner, and Fatness could have gone around capping all the bases. So,
Yeah,
but
and
it's
here we see
primed.
now he's in the back chat.
It's now primed for the comeback.
But this is interesting to see though, because the Batchat is a tank that we haven't seen often at all. And look at him, he's not even going full base A, he's going straight full base B. Probably to try and get that very early cap. Not sure he's going to get away with that though. This might be a very expensive cap.
It could be, but at the same time, it could be expensive for Cora Cora. Although he has got Ranger and Rob there.
Oof, 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 oof.
Oh, that was a big roll, though, into his Royal Fatness. He does manage to survive it, but he's now a one-shot for the rest of the game.
We have Tanner flanking around, going to get behind them together with Mako. Just look at this.
That
This
is a
is
good
fish in a
move.
barrel.
That is a great move by Mako and Tanner. They are trapping them. They are now pincered. Hated Fate is
Hated
not going to
Fate.
last.
No, there he goes. There goes Rob as well. But this is basically... This was a master move on Pramo's side. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's going to work out. We don't know yet, because Cora is now also gone. But those two Kranwagens flanking around with a full clip made a lot of difference here.
Oh,
It's actually
oh.
working against them.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. I mean, they've got more hit points, Pramo, at the moment.
Yeah, but they got two
TJ's
guns
now
left.
one shot. Oh, TJ is now gone. Tanner
Tanner
will go
is not
down.
long for this build either.
Taken out by,
There's...
guess who? It's Royal Fatness.
Yeah, exactly. In the bat chats, at the back, still getting his shots in.
Snow Fox
Snow
is about
Fox.
to go.
No, he survives another reload.
Yeah, Glory's got one that he'll put into his side, though. Just
Yep.
like that.
And this could have easily gone in Pramo's direction. I think it's mainly the fact that both teams responded very quickly to what was happening. And Rain decided to push against Pramo, which also meant that it would be harder for Pramo to get that pincer movement done.
Yeah, I mean, it degenerated to a brawl, and brawls are always difficult. If Fatness wins this now with the kill on Even Steven, that will be
I think he will, though.
obscene.
Yeah, there we
Obscene.
go. So cheeky. Man of the match though, all the way.
Brutal. That's just brutal.
This is basically like... This is again one of those battles, I'm not sure what happened, you know? I think it's mainly that basically when Pramo pushed against Rain with over half their team, Rain decided to push back in order to not get caught completely from behind. And I think that made all the difference. And then you had Focus Fire, you had the town that is what was working against Pramo here, offering a bit more cover and everything. But it's highly interesting. Also means, by the way, I actually clicked that away a bit too fast.
20.
Rain did 20,027 damage.
Yeah, that's what they've done. So
that is the score for the third giveaway.
And now we're into Halas.
Yes, different map, small map. Definitely not
Yeah,
my favorite map.
no, it's a mixed bag. This one, it is a very small map. It's got a lot of dips and undulations and things like that, but it is a small map. It really is a small map.
And there's just so many crossfire lines, good positions
Yeah.
that you really can't get out of and can get easily pushed in. I find that this map is mostly won by focus fire because you enter a brawl stage fairly quickly generally. In multiple parts of the map usually,
hmm
but it almost always ends in a big brawl.
Well, I always find this map. This is a map whereby if you start bouncing, then it costs you the game. You've got to land those shots, and as you
Yeah.
said, focus fire is the key on this map.
So let's have a look. Pretty similar lineups, with the only difference is that there's a Crown Wagon more on Primo's side and E5 more
hmm
on RGN's side, on Rain side.
Yeah, Rain are topping that hit point pool. It's not significant. It's more of a comfort napkin rather than a comfort blanket.
To be fair, that I generally don't look at the HP pool until it sort of counts when you have gun differences and everything.
That's the thing. I
Um,
mean, I keep telling everybody in the stream until it gets like 1,500 difference. There's no difference. Not at this level.
exactly, it's literally one shot of damage between them.
Yeah.
They two getting spotted there means that they know where the Vickers is. They probably can't shoot him because he's like hiding properly, but they know where he's going to be at.
But this is an interesting move by even Steven in Tantan, I must admit. Didn't expect that for them to come that aggressively down there and push into the middle, putting pressure onto that C cap, getting that crossfire into TJ and potentially his Royal Fatness. Hence the reason why his Royal Fatness is not progressing forward,
Yeah, but this is
allowing me.
basically we saw this on EU as well
hmm
because now TJ is stuck in that position. He cannot get out of
Correct.
there.
That's the thing, and this is what Tantan and even Steven was anticipating to do: catch somebody in that position. Royal Fatness has got a choice now. He can either push it in and help him out, and he will take hit points, or just let TJ do what he can. And at the same time, you can see the Crown Dragons of Samuel and Rob are pushing down on the E5s.
And we see Zaytu responding to that immediately, whereas Dragon Creek is staying where he is. Thing is, they need to pull back in order to draw Pramo into the line of fire from their teammates. TJ at the same time is being pretty much massacred here, but look at the difference in HP
Yeah.
on tanks as a total.
But I just want to point out, look what Royal Fatness did. You saw he was in that position. He completely moved out of that position, leaving TJ to his fate because he couldn't save TJ, and he saved a lot of his hit points in doing so because he could have been crossfired.
Yeah. And Hated Fate is now also gone, so is Tantan. Both teams have lost 2 tanks. And HP wise, it is a little bit in the favor of Rain, but it will all be about the focus fight. This is literally what I was saying right
Yeah,
before the battle.
absolutely. It's about focus firing, penning those shots, and that's what it's all about on this map.
And it's just always it's a brawl. This is
Yeah.
what Hellas leads to because you always have this issue.
Well, Cora Core's going
Tanner,
to lose that battle.
oof, getting
This
hit a
is
lot.
well. This is going to go to Rain.
Yeah, it is. Oof, they're even focusing the Vickers over Cora, and Cora is a one shot. His royal fatness gets taken out there.
Yeah, but Glory can finish off Cora. That's not a problem. Tanner's down, leaving Mako as the last man standing.
And this is basically his royal fatness here, his moving around actually made a big difference here.
That exactly. That is. Do not underestimate what he just did. He could. I mean, a lot of people could have turned around and said, "Oh, why is he not helping TJ? Blah blah blah. Why is he not pushing forward?" And if you go back and watch what he does, he actually gets himself into a position where he rotates around the back of the tanks, pushing in onto TJ, allowing Glory in the Kranwagen and the other tank to come in and help him out. That was a game changer. It really was,
It's
funnily enough. Even though
fantastic.
he went down. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is basically what I look for when I stream tournaments. These kind of movements, these kind of game changes that are out of the box. This is a term that I've been using a lot tonight, but it's a lot more interesting than just watching people sort of like wheel each other down. It's when someone does something that you wouldn't normally expect that has all the effects that it needs to. That is just beautiful.
But this is the thing. I mean, when you're looking at it, when you play the game and you don't play it at this level, and you look at things like that, it's like it looks mundane when actually it isn't. It's more than mundane. It's actually very, very instrumental in how the game plays out. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's not always about the damage. It's about doing your role, doing your job, and and getting the team to sort of do their bit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And now, this is basically, I always feel the need to point this out. This matchup doesn't matter. Both these teams are through to the next round. The only thing that
Yeah,
this does is decide who they're up against, which they won't
yeah.
know until they know the result from the other group. So basically, what happens here doesn't matter. I also don't expect these teams to be playing super seriously right now. They
No.
will play to win, of course, because you want to, but it's not die hard.
No, and it won't be giving away many strats, which is probably why we're seeing a lot more brawls now. I mean, we saw a
Yeah.
big brawl on Alpenstadt. We've just seen a brawl there on Hallas. We'll probably see another brawl now, but it's Hallas anyway. You always get a brawl on Hallas.
But that's the same thing on Hallis always calls for brawls.
Yeah.
Because of the lines of fire that you have. You always have this little bit of, oh, let's see where they are. Oh, let's push. That's basically how it goes on this map. For me, this is not a good Clan Wars map.
No, I mean, I rate it just slightly better than Camp Stiller.
That is exactly it. Camp Silla is the worst of the worst. We now see Pramo doing something out of the box though. They're not going to see it all.
No, I
They're
mean,
going to be.
Samuel's going to avoid it and push straight onto A. With Sierra also taking the other ramp, which is something that we normally do see. But there's nobody there for Rain. They're bunkered down where the TDs normally would be in a public game.
And we see the first damage being done to Rob there. TJ taking a shot as well. Because now they need to get a base back. And they need to defend base A as well.
But the thing is now, I mean, if they get C, then they can probably push through the middle onto those crown wagons, or they could rotate back to their spawn and push onto the IS4s through A. They've got multiple choices.
The thing is that they don't know where half the team from Premo is, which
That's
part
why-
is being supported.
But Fadu has already taken that bite and he's saying, no, let's go this way.
And we see Premo responding with Fadu doing that. You see two Kranwakers at the back, turning around, taking a different position. Fadu might have gotten himself into a bit of a pickle here.
Yeah, but he may have done, but it depends what the call was. If the call is for Rain to carry on pushing round towards Pramo's spawn, then it's a good move. If it's not, then you're right, he's in a pickle. Because now the Cran Dragons of Ated Fate and Glory have got to help him.
Yeah, and they're getting tapped as they go along, which is also a bad thing for Rain. Premo, however, is playing this very cleverly. They've still not shown all their trump cards. And with
No.
forcing Rain to respond, they're actually making Rain lose a lot of HP here.
Well, they almost pincered them there. I mean, TJ and Zaytu had to come round. Royal Fatness had to come round as well. Because
Dude has
Hated
4
Fate and
HP
Glory...
left.
Yeah.
And there he goes. Tanner is going to be taken out as well. But it is tricky. But with the amount of... Oof, there we go. Lots of guns gone in a split second.
Oof. Yeah, lots of tanks went down quickly there.
Sierra
moment-
getting shot in the rear there by Dragon Creek.
Yeah, but at the moment, Pramo have the upper hand on this one.
Yeah. They also have a big point advantage. They have a gun advantage here. And they basically just need to have Sierra survive. That will be the trickiest part for them.
Oh, that's one thing you don't normally see. His Royal Fatness completely missing a shot on Sierra.
I think that's also because Samuel was there. He will be throwing off aim.
There he is. Sierra finally goes down to Dragon Creek, but Royal Fatness lost a lot of HP in that move.
They're keeping Samuel track now, and now it's TJ that is basically keeping his Royal Feathers from getting killed. Dragon
Um,
Creek has been taken out. It's 4 versus 3. It can technically still go every which way,
TJ
but
will go down. Now it's 2 against too many.
I would very much expect Primo to win this, regardless of their low HP targets as well. Because as OP as his Royal Feathers is, even he can't win this, and now it's just
No.
Seitu.
Yeah. That was good stuff by Pramo. Very cleverly done.
Yeah, I just love the way that they basically held half their team back in a way, waiting for Rain to do something in order to respond.
Yeah, and they got the response from Fadu, which sort of lit a green light for Pramo to do their strat, which was push through with the Crown Dragons down the middle and the IS4s and everything else over through the A cap, completely
But
catching
even
Pramo
then,
off guard. But yeah, but it
they were
suckered Pramo
waiting.
in.
The Kranwagens were
Yeah.
waiting in the middle until Rain's Kranwagens actually made the push.
They did, and this is what they were trying to do. They were trying to sucker them in, and Rain took the bait, basically.
Yeah.
And whatever their strat was, their strat may have been to go round through the spawn of Pramo, get behind them, I don't know, from that C cap, but they had to change that, and you saw we had Zaytu, Royal Fatness, and TJ then coming through the middle, trying to put some pressure on those Kranwagens, who in the meantime, as you quite rightly pointed out, it backed off.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is it's such clever gameplay, and it's just so much more fun that way. And to be fair, it didn't really turn into the brawl that we thought was going to be. This was
No,
much
but
cleverer than just a brawl.
it was still brawly at the end, but it was clever at the initial outset, I must admit.
Yeah. And now
And
we're going to
now,
go to Port Bay, and we see IS-7s
I was
making a
about to
show.
say that. Yeah, IS-7s are coming in now.
So that's different on its own. Curious to see. This is what I mean with not expecting these teams to play super seriously at this point, because I think that if this was the grand finals of the tournament as a whole, we would not be seeing IS-7s.
That's true.
I wouldn't expect that in any case.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see Royal Fatness in an E5. There you go.
To be fair, the man is OP in whatever he drives. He
Very
can
true.
make anything work.
However, though, he is a traditional medium and light player.
And yes, I am a fangirl for those wondering. No, but seriously, he's one of the most humble players that I know, one of the kindest people that I know in the game, and just completely OP.
Yeah, he does need a nerf, to be fair.
Yeah, he kind of does. It's that he got buffed into a CC.
But no, I mentioned that, and I think that is a fantastic move by Wargaming's part to have someone of his caliber, from firstly on the North American server, and secondly as a tournament player, and not just a Y tier, to come in as a CC is fantastic for the game, I think.
But not just that. The thing is that he embodies what a CC should be about. It's about content, it's about communication, but it's also about attitude. And for me, his Royal Fatness has the right attitude to be a CC, and that is massive hits into Zaytu there.
Well, that was, yeah, as he tried to cross. This is when Royal Fatness says, "Why am I not in a T22?"
And they're currently this is basically going to be a big brawl battle.
Yeah, I mean, look at Sierra and Tantan. They're not even bothering with Dragon Creek. They want to get behind Royal Fatness and into those E5s. And why not when you can do that?
Exactly. Rob is being focused on. This is like it's all brawl. It can go
Yeah.
every which way, but it will be about the focus fire, a bit of RNG, and pen.
Even Steven winning the brawl currently, mainly due to the fact he dropped his reactive armor at the same time, which helped him. Glory's going to go down. Well, he went down a different
Rory
way.
literally went down to save himself. Still died.
Yeah,
Though.
he still died, yeah. Oh, even
Basically.
Steven now is losing the battle with his Royal Fatness.
Yeah, but that's also because of Dragon Creek intervening there. Tanner is being set upon. Badu is still alive, but he's going to lose a lot of hit points.
Fatness has gone down. Tanner is not long for this game.
No. He's still alive though. He's playing it very cleverly, but there he goes. Now we have Mako arriving or deciding to not arrive after all. It is 4 versus 3. Tantan still having a lot of HP left, so he's also not the primary focus for Rain right now.
No, but Dragon Krieg is doing his best to sort of make
Occupy
Tantan's
him.
day a little bit less happy. But Dragon Krieg now is being crossfired and down he goes.
And we have Hated Fate arriving with 3 shells, but he only gets 1 each.
Down he goes. So far we now have Fadu's a one-shot, and TJ who is many shots, but we've got a very strong IS-7.
Yeah. But
With
him
the
actually going there will allow them to push Mako especially. Fadu is going to be primary target. He can't really get out of
Yeah.
there alive, and he
He doesn't.
Codobano situation for TJ. But
This is
that's
where-
not going to be easy.
Nah, but this is where Tantan's name becomes apt.
Tantan too strong.
There
But
you
it's
go.
actually Mako that takes
It's actually
him out.
Mako who takes him down, yes.
Those IS-7s, to be fair, they did really well. But
Underrated
again,
tank.
I would not expect this kind of gameplay in
Nah.
when it actually matters.
But goes to show you, see. Rain
Yeah.
have the upper hand in round 1, and Pramo have the upper hand in the next round. In round 3, so pretty much like what we saw on the EU server earlier.
Exactly. So we have Premo and Rain through to tomorrow. Apex and Jokers through on the other side. They are still going at it, so their matches they're also in a tiebreaker somewhere.
They are indeed.
That means, let's see, I think that means that Premo is going to go up against the second place from the other group, and Rain is going to go up against the first place of the other group.
Yeah.
Which is still going to be a very tough pickle for any team facing them, because it is Premo and Rain.
And looking down at the challenges while we're here, OG and Arrival are through in Group 1, and Void and PPS. So we say goodbye to Straight and we say goodbye to Cursed.
Yes. So currently looking at the scores there, they are also still going at it.
Yeah, they are indeed.
So basically now, for us, the matches are over. We can wait it out to see what is going on with Apex and Jokers. But considering it's just past 5 AM, we have to be streaming in about 8 hours again.
Yeah. We do. This time Asia.
Exactly. 8 challenges for me. You're joining me today, or?
No, I'm joining you both days for the challenges in Asia.
Huh.
In NA, I'm joining you tomorrow. Tomorrow for me, so
Yeah, exactly.
tomorrow for everybody.
We just have to discuss how we do that with the matches wise, because there's different matches going on. At the same time, with Fishy streaming also in English, we
Yeah.
should be able to do this together again.
I would have thought so.
Yeah. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for
Yeah.
being with us. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will announce my winners on the on my Discord, and just be sure that if you won, you will not get the pass right away. It is the June Battle Pass, so you only get it after the June Battle Pass has actually started.
Absolutely.
So thank you all for watching. Have a good night all, and I'll see you all for Asia later. Bye bye.
Same here. I'm off to bed. Cheerio. Thanks for popping in, guys.